Hello, wonderful nerds, and welcome to my brand new channel. My name is Crystalline, and I own and run Crystalline Creates. It is a jewelry that I make. It's all gemstone, some glass, some metal, and it's based on all of our wonderful fandoms that we love. So I have pieces that are inspired by Legend of Zelda, Mass Effect, Mario. The list goes on, and it grows every day as I get new ideas and new input and start building new things. I started doing jewelry when I was in high school. I am currently 34, so it's been a while. I initially started doing it as like an outlet. I was going through a lot. I was assaulted when I was a senior, and just never really figured out how to A, process that properly, and B, express that to anybody. So nobody really knew for a really long time, and jewelry was kind of, like I said, like my outlet. I picked up a like little manual one day randomly and just kept doing it, kept collecting beads, started getting into gemstones and crystals, and following a new spiritual path. And that kind of just gave me the idea of using gemstones to create patterns based on the things that we love. Because honestly, you don't see a whole lot. Like, there's some out there now that, like, there's Etsy and things like that, but some of it is just not affordable, and it's not accessible. And that's what I'm trying to provide. All of my gemstones are 100% real, but I buy local, and I buy when I can pass on the savings to use, because I want my jewelry to not only be accessible and affordable, but to still be beautiful and something that you're proud to wear. And all of my designs are pretty subtle, which is why I call it the Fandom Underground. Because if you know, you know, and if you don't, it just looks like something really pretty. So you can wear it anywhere and be, you know, kind of a subtle nerd about things. So like the piece I'm wearing right now actually has garnet and tiger's eye, and then the rose and the key, which if you read The Dark Tower, you know what the rose and the key mean. But if you don't, it just looks cool. And that's part of why I started doing this. Once I was able to officially get my diagnoses, I have major depressive disorder and PTSD due to emotional and other traumas. And I started doing what's called EMDR. For me, there's different forms of it. For me, it was a light that went back and forth pretty quickly, and it kind of puts you in a hypnotic state, for lack of a better word. And you 100% do this with a professional. Don't try to figure it out on your own. It doesn't work. Because you can bring up a lot of really powerful things and have no idea how to close them or to bring yourself back. Because you do feel like you're in the moment again. And it can be jarring and a little bit frightening. So for me, to have my therapist with me was really helpful. And she was a really open person, because one of the things they always tell you is to look for something external that you can look towards as something that you eventually want to be. And for me, that was Commander Shepard, Fem Shep in Mass Effect. Because when I think of some strong, independent woman who's gone through some shit, that's who I think of. Because the stuff she deals with is insane. And she comes out the other end, depending on your ending, comes out the other end. And it doesn't kill who she is at the core. Now, I always ran Paragon because I don't like to make my squad mates sad. But it doesn't destroy that in her. And on top of that, as far as gameplay, it was one of the first games I played that had a woman as its central character, and it wasn't changed. Like, the game was still the core game. and you still did all the things that Broshep did. Nobody else did it for you. Like, the other game that comes to mind when I think of things like this is the original Resident Evil, where you played Jill Valentine. And yeah, she was still a badass. No disrespect to Jill at all. But she also was saved a couple times by Barry, just out of nowhere. And that always bothered me a little bit, because Chris doesn't. Chris doesn't need to be saved when you play Chris Redfield. So that always, yeah, you know. And Mass Effect was one of those games that didn't do that. And I loved it. And it gave me something to come home to decompress after dealing with all of these crazy emotions. So Mass Effect is actually my first full line. I have almost every squad mate. And of course I have Shepard. And then I wear my own stuff. Like, I love how it looks. And my number one piece that I wear usually all the time is Garrus. My Garrus Carrion piece. It's a blue tiger's eye and hematite. And it's got a great look to it. And it's something that I wear all the time. So, yeah, that was my first start. I wanted something Mass Effect. And I'd gotten into it late, so there wasn't a whole lot like out there. Like, there still really isn't for Mass Effect, which confuses the crap out of me, because it's one of the best games I've ever played. So I have a full line of pieces inspired by that game and the characters that you meet and grow and make these relationships with, depending on how you play the game. That's the fun part. It all changes. From that, I moved to Legend of Zelda, because I've been playing Legend of Zelda since I was a kid. Ocarina was my first game, but after that I was hooked, and I've played everything and I love it. So just as a quick example for you all, that is the Triforce of Courage, and that is Malachite. Malachite is a stone of courage. It's a stone of protection. So it all kind of correlates, you know? And I've done that. So those are the ones that I've had. So far it's Mass Effect and Legend of Zelda that have like the most pieces, but I'm working on other things, because other things deserve to have some sort of beautiful pieces that represent what they are. So currently on my website, which will be in the description below, I have Hunter x Hunter, I have Arcane, I have Mass Effect, I have Mario Brothers, I have Legend of Zelda, I have Hogwarts House Colors. I don't support her, but I know those books meant a lot to me when I was a kid, and I'm sure it means a lot to other people too. I have The Mandalorian. I have some Star Wars stuff, because I have some pieces that look like Star Wars handles. So I made Star Wars lightsaber earrings, which I love. So yeah, nerd is where I live. I love nerd culture, and I love talking about it, and I love living in it. So you'll probably see that a lot more on the channel, as well as I am, yeah, I just like to talk a lot. Along with all that though, I do have another facet to my business. I like, making jewelry that has meaning behind it. So I make a lot of Pride jewelry. I have almost every Pride flag. I'm working on a lot of the little obscure ones that people might be looking for, but I have the major ones, and I have a whole section for that. I'm looking to get to a point eventually where I can donate part of those proceeds to LGBT organizations. Not quite there yet, but I'm working on it. Along with that, I do have some other pieces. I have awareness ribbons that can be customized to any color for whatever cause is close to your heart. There's a whole list of what these causes can mean, and I'm also looking to donate proceeds from those sales eventually to those organizations. I also have a line of Black Lives Matter stuff. That one is ready to be donated. So every piece that's sold, 75% of it will go to Black Lives Matter. There's just way too much going on right now with that, to not talk about it. So this is 100% a channel that is LGBT friendly. That is a Black Lives Matter channel. That is a, for lack of better term, social justice channel. I'm a very liberal person, so if that doesn't fly with you, you're free to move on. Nobody's making you stay here. And I want to put that out at the beginning before people start coming in. And that's me. If you have any questions, I'm a dog mom. I love dogs. I love animals in general, but I do eat meat. I'm sorry. I have 2 dogs. They're both pit bulls, and that's another thing that I kind of have a close spot in my heart for, is that they're not awful dogs, like people like to say. But I will be talking here about video games and new things coming out and stuff that I want to do, and I'll probably eventually be posting stuff from like Twitch once I get that up and running, because I do kind of want to do that stuff too, because gaming is where I live, and Valheim just released a new patch, if you have ever played Valheim, so I might be starting to work on that. Yeah, so leave me comments of what else you would like to see. I can totally talk about gemstones and what they mean and why I chose them for certain pieces and how I think they fit with these characters or what this piece represents. I'll probably do a video about that too sometime down the line. You'll see some shorts here also. Yeah, that's kind of everything that I can think of, y'all. So it's nice to meet you. Say hi in the comments. Let me know what you want to see, and I will talk to y'all later. See ya, nerds.